Welcome back. This is Dr. Bob, and this is another series of videos. If you're watching these videos, the reason why you're looking through these is because you're frustrated. You've been approaching and using your allopathic and medical community doctors. You're ill, you're suffering from some affliction, disease, and you can't seem to find the answers. Well, I'm not going to say that I have all the answers, and I don't think I do, but I do know one thing. The human body is hardwired to heal itself. Your tissues in your body heal with the proper nutrition, the proper balance, the proper things that you can do, the proper lifestyle, the proper thinking. Tissues don't heal with drugs and pharmaceuticals. All they do is treat the symptom. They manage the symptom with a lot of side effects that go along with these drugs. The allopathic community, which includes Big Pharma, the AMA, the FDA, the New England Journal of Medicine, they all want you to believe that they're the only intellectual authority capable of healing your disease, or naming your disease, or treating your disease. Well, if that's the case, with the most advanced medical community in history of man, why in the world is everybody getting sicker and sicker, and why is it becoming so expensive to treat these symptoms of all these different so-called diseases? Every day they're coming up with a new one. They're doing all this research, and they're a new disorder to create a new drug so they can treat that disorder. Naming a new disorder doesn't change the nature of your illness. Only the ability to patent a new drug, a new multi-million-dollar drug to treat that new disorder that they have named as a new disease. The human race is in some serious trouble, folks. I'm telling you, we have all around the world, we're seeing huge increases of all kinds of things, anywhere from obesity to diabetes to hypertension to heart disease, Alzheimer's, cancer, ADD, ADHD, OCCD, all the ABCs that you can possibly imagine, chronic fatigue syndrome. The list just goes on and on and on. They have come up with thousands and thousands of ways and thousands of drugs to treat all these symptoms. And of course, they come up with all these different symptoms. It's very simple. One of the most common symptoms that you'll run into is your hypertension symptom. You go into the doctor. Well, I call that the white coat syndrome, because you're probably going to go into your doctor and you're probably feeling okay, but you're just going in for a checkup, and you go in there and you're only going in there about once. Most guys anyway, they're only going in there 3 or 4 years, every 3 or 4 years, and of course the medical community has got us conditioned to think that we're going to get some bad news when we go in there. And so we're a little hypertensive when we walk in the door just because of that. And so, they check our blood pressure, and it's a little on the high side, so they say, well, you've got some hypertension, and we want you to take medication that will help with that. But they don't take into consideration the side effects. So here we are. We're in the side effects. And the side effects are lightheadedness, dizziness, are a few of them. And one of the biggest side effects is usually after about 6 months of taking this hypertension, high blood pressure medicines, is erectile dysfunction. Isn't that amazing? So now they got the new symptom, a new thing, and the doctor scratches his head and says, well, you know, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I need some of the little blue pills so I can keep on going, you know. And so it just kind of builds on itself. These symptoms, you know, it's the biggest crock that they've ever come up with, that they can produce. It's almost deceptive, you know. They produce a drug or a medication, and they call it the other direct effects of these drugs as, oh, they're just side effects. They play them down as they're not that significant. But long-term use of most of these drugs, phenodiazepines, the Valium type drugs, you know, they administer them to people who have trouble sleeping. Of course, all the other new sleeping disorder drugs that they've come up with if you ever listen to the list of side effects on those, they scare you to death if you would take that kind of stuff, you know. And there's so many simple remedies, homeopathic remedies that can help you. Proper nutrition, proper diet, proper exercise, and some of God's herbs and God's foods that He has put on this planet will help alleviate most of these issues very quickly. I had one patient, a client, he was a young man. He had insomnia. He couldn't sleep. He had, you know, I ran into him one time at a restaurant while I was traveling, and he told me, he says, I was kidding him because it was in the morning. I was getting some breakfast, and he looked like he was one of these college students that stayed up all night long and partied and then come to work. You know, just never went home and hardly even changed his clothes. You know, and he looked just totally wore out. And I said, what'd you do? You just stay up all night long and party and come to work? And he says, no, I've got insomnia. I can't sleep. I haven't been able to sleep more than 2 or 3 hours in years. And I said, well, what are you doing? He says, well, I'm taking a sleep pharmaceutical that my doctor gave me, and I have these terrible dreams, and I have these, you know, I have some depression, and I woke up one morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was in Walmart parking lot, and I never had any idea how I got there. Now that stuff is scary, folks. Now, healing is not an intellectual function. It's a function of nutrition and avoiding the toxins of modern life. If you are watching this video, your spirit's telling you to continue watching. You'll find some answers here. Not all the answers, but most of them can be answered with some of the avoidance of some of the toxins and proper nutrition, and that's one of the things we're going to be talking about a lot. Our bodies are hardwired by God to not only heal themselves, but our minds are also hardwired to listen to our Creator. So that's the point of view that we have, is that with proper nutrition, spiritual healing. A lot of us have toxic thinking. You know, toxic thinking alone can create all kinds of havoc on your immune system, on your health system, hypertension, heart disease, acid levels in your system. You know, toxic thinking can cause you to crave the wrong kind of foods, kind of eat the wrong kind of foods. toxic, and then of course many of these foods are the wrong kind of foods that we eat, create so many blockages in our ability for our body to metabolize oxygen properly, to eliminate acids and waste, to move our lymph system, to get proper circulation in our blood, get proper digestion in our bowels and in our digestive system, which all this together affects our nervous system. So it's kind of like a vicious cycle. Once you get into this and things start going wrong, it just starts gaining momentum. It starts out slow. Most people, it starts out slow. It starts out as hypertension. And they give you a little medication for that. And then the next thing you know, you're heading for a mild, what they call a metabolic syndrome. Possibly, more likely, it's going to be a mild form of diabetes. And, of course, you're going to have a little obesity that goes along with that. And then you're going to have maybe some chronic fatigue syndrome. And then it's going to just continue to escalate. You're going to start developing autoimmune disorders. You're going to start developing cellulitis. You're going to start having edema in your skin, swelling. Next thing you know, you're starting to pop up some tumors. Tumors are starting to pop up. Then you're running down to the doctor, and the doctor's saying, oh my gosh, not only do you have all these other problems, you've got tumors too. Well, you got to check these tumors out. So what do? They go check them out. They excise the tumors, and they find out that you've got something that looks like cancer. It just has a vicious cycle, and most of this, it all starts with eating the wrong foods, a lifetime of exposure to all these toxins that our bodies do not have the ability to cope with. There's thousands of average woman in the morning before she gets ready to work comes into contact on her skin, and the air that she breathes at her bathroom probably comes into contact with over 100 different toxic chemicals and odors and different things before she even walks out the door first thing in the morning. So it's no surprising that most of these women are having issues and problems, and more than even the guys are. But the guys have got their own set of problems. So I really want to thank you today for coming. If you have friends that are suffering from illnesses, refer these videos to them. Have them watch these, and as we go on, you can't cover everything in 10 or 15 minutes. It's not possible. But as you start watching these videos, from video 1 go back to the very beginning of these and start watching them from the beginning and watch them all the way through. They're only 15 minutes long, 10, 15 minutes. And you'll start to develop a mindset and an understanding of what we're doing and how we're going at it. We're going to go into a little more deeper into some of these disorders, the obesities and diabetes and these type. Now, we don't treat the symptoms. We don't treat these diseases. We don't cure them. We don't diagnose these diseases. We don't do any of that. What we do is we teach you how to heal, how to create the conditions that will allow your body to heal itself the way God designed it to do. So, till next time. Oh, by the way, if you are interested in contacting me, you can go to the email address below on this link and give me a message, and I'll get back with you.
Draw me close to you. Never let me go. I'll lay it all down again to hear you say that I'm your friend. inside.